Now, keeping ahead of changing consumer habits, just one of the many challenges that every retailer faces. My next guest has taken his experience in finance and textiles to the stewardship of slipcover supplier SureFit. Hugh Rovit has been the chief executive since 2006, and prior to SureFit, Hugh was a principal at the turnaround firm of Mason & Company. Good to have you with us on Bloomberg, Hugh.
Thanks so much for having me back.
So before we get into the world of slipcovers and protecting furniture and so on, I always have to ask you, how did you get into this business? This seems like an unlikely business for someone that didn't grow up in the furniture or slipcover world.
No, I was a Wall Street person for a while, and I guess sort of got dissatisfied with sort of managing 31-year careers. I wanted to sort of make something and develop a business over time.
What do you mean 31-year careers? What does that mean?
I guess I'm not a commission-oriented person, and I realized that come beginning of each calendar year, you wipe the slate clean, and it's out doing deals and generating fees and being evaluated at the end of that next fiscal year.
I mean, it's all about what have you done for me lately?
Exactly, and I wanted to sort of build something. I wanted sort of professional goodwill to be developed and learn and develop a broad set of operating skills.
All right, but you didn't just say, you know, out of the blue, put your finger in the phone book and pick a slipcover company.
No.
You had some background and some connections to the textile world.
Yeah, my first job after leaving Wall Street happened to have been in textiles. So from that, I sort of parlayed that into a couple of other opportunities. I was in the men's hosiery business. I was in the ladies' lingerie business. I was in the consumer napkins and tablecloths business, institutional business. And then through different routing, I found myself into this particular business.
And in putting together sort of this company and taking it over, what were the challenges that you saw then that someone who was not, you know, that was coming from Wall Street, that was not part of the inside world of slipcovers and furniture, what did you see need to happen in the company as opposed to someone that was already in the business?
Well, when I joined the company, one of the reasons that I was brought in to help run the company was it was underperforming. And what does that mean? It was bleeding cash. There were some miscues that had been made historically. So what we decided to do is sort of go back to the basics. And what I had learned in some of my operating experiences is that 80% of what's wrong with 90% of troubled businesses has nothing to do with the industry. It's sort of a breakdown of business fundamentals. And what does that mean? There was no budgets. There was no marketing message. There was no sales strategy. There was no that type of structure.
So something that could be applied to just about any business.
Right. It just happened to be in this particular business. And what was missing with this particular business is that we were trying to sell fabric and not sort of selling what does this thing do. So we said back, you know, what do slipcovers do? They're solutions. They're solutions to the bigger problem, which is home decorating. And next to purchasing your vehicle and purchasing your home, investing in furniture is one of the largest sources of income. So what slipcovers do is it provides you an affordable and practical alternative to buying a couch or reupholstering. So we went back and said, well, how do we get that message across? So what we decided to do is sort of show people what does furniture look like when it's dirty and unprotected, and what can it look like with a sort of a makeover. So we sort of said, let's take a piece of packaging like this and sort of show the item. This is sort of somewhat compelling, but what's more compelling is look what this
the before and after.
Precisely, it's the transformation. Look what I can do to my home in a matter of moments.
Now, of course, you know, if you came to the company in 2006, right?
Correct.
The economy was doing a lot better in 2006, and then it kind of fell off a cliff. What was the effect on the business? Because, you know, people's homes, people dealing with expenditures. Was this a more attractive business then?
Absolutely. I mean, we've had the last 2 years, we've had double-digit sales increases each year, year over year. Why? Because our message of affordability and practical redecorating at value has resonated with the consumer. And I think we're going to have long memories of what happened 2 years from now, when people are going to be looking at how they spend their money. And so what we've told ourselves and told our consumers is that we're in a business of sort of need rather than wants. And what you need to do, we can provide that function for you at far, far less than you were spending beforehand.
Now, as someone that was, as you said earlier, in Wall Street, but now in a real retail role, what have you learned about business dealing with the customer on a day-to-day basis?
One thing I've learned as a wholesaler is that ultimately our success is measured not by the retailers to whom we sell, but it's the consumers who shop at those stores. It's not to sell into the store, it's to sell through to the consumer. So we are very, very specific in the accounts that we deal with, that we understand who shops there, what are their likes, what are their demographics, what is their buying pattern.
So it's not just how much volume you can get out the door to the actual retail outlet.
The stores are just distributors. They're middlemen between us and the end consumer. We want to appeal directly to the end consumer, know that end consumer better than the stores actually know their end consumers, and provide product, packaging, point of purchase, merchandising, and a message that sort of resonates geographically as well as by store.
Hugh, you know, when you think about slipcovers, I got to confess, it feels a little bit like those old, family vacations to an aunt or an uncle and, sitting on the slipcover and kind of getting stuck on them. But you've kind of branched out a little bit. It's more than just slipcovers for humans now, right?
Correct.
How did you come up with this idea, SureFit, machine washable pet covers?
Well, back to the idea of research, Pimm, we spent a lot of time with focus groups, both quantitatively and qualitatively. We found out that most of our customers were pet owners. In fact, 70% of the U.S. households have one pet, and 55% of the U.S. households have more than one pet, 2 pets. So we said, gee, people who are looking for protection of their furniture are pet owners. How do we sort of get that message across? We tried to do things in making that message not very effectively. So we said, you know what, let's just sort of go for the gut roll. Let's actually develop a line of product that goes on top of our products or on top of the couch. And so what we came up with was a line of Furniture Friend slipcovers.
Furniture Friend, and I see it's got a paw print on it. I mean, do you get a dog to actually endorse this stuff?
That's our next project for next year. But what we found out is, there's many rules and regulations that people have within their home. So rather than sort of saying, no, don't go on the couch, we said, why don't we create an environment which people want to have their pets join them on the couch. So we've created this sort of machine washable, soft, suede product, 3 different sizes for the home.
And how's it doing? I mean, what have sales been like of something like this?
We launched this product early in 2010. It'll be 10% of our business in 1 year.
10% of the business in 1 year. Is that considered? I mean, what was your plan to be?
It would have been sort of a test year and it ended up being a significant part of the business. But then again, how do we then sort of play on this thing? So that our next line that we've been developed is now called Auto Friend. Because some people said to us, well, my pets know not to go on my couch, or my cats are allowed on my couch. I don't need something for the house. But when I drive somewhere, when I'm taking my dog out for a walk, or in wet weather, my car, that's pristine. How do I protect the car from pets? So we developed a line of products for the car. Cargo seat, the bench seat, as well as the bucket seats. So we've called that Auto Friend for pets as well as for children.
Now, was there any pushback from anybody inside the company? I mean, since you're running the company, I guess you can make any decision you want. But I mean, did someone say, you know what, that's not a really great idea? Why are we going into that? That's a whole new market. I mean, how do you deal with that kind of sort of back and forth that goes on inside the executive suite?
There may have been a little bit of pushback, but as we said to our team, listen, we're specialty seating experts. We're in the business of covering things that you sit on and making them, either protecting them from getting dirty or transforming them into something that is more fashionable. So anytime you sit on something, we say that's a potential product for SureFit. So the automobile was certainly one of them. The pet products was another one. We're now branching it out into items for the kitchen. We also have designs on the baby room and also on the outdoor. So it's sort of a whole home makeover, not just isolated to traditionally what slipcovers were meant to be, which was your white room with the velvet rope where you weren't allowed in over time.
So as you go into any environment right now, and the first thing you do is instead of looking at the people, you're just looking at the chairs?
Exactly. I'm sitting on anything I can. We've looked at things for potentially institutional use, hospitality, for instance, all the hotels that go through so much expenditures today in room makeovers. Why not create a line of product suitable for hotels? Or
stadium seating, things like that, outdoor
living,
seating?
Or other things, buses, transportation. Things that basically prevent, or at least the message is for the owner, rather than invest in CapEx.
Right, and more capital expenditure to buy new chairs or new furniture.
How do we preserve what you have, which also has a green effect as well. Not disposing all that furniture unnecessarily.
All right. Well, I want to thank you very much, Hugh Rovit, for coming in and sharing your new Furniture Friend items with us, and also giving us a little insight into how a retailer responds to the changes in the marketplace and how you continue to grow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
All right.